Well, we just got done for the day. It is Thursday, October 6th. And this is the first the chopper's been back home in about 11 days. Last time we had it in the shop was when we switched it over to corn knives. It is ready for an oil change. Well, it's not quite ready for an oil change yet. It's within 20 hours. And I figured tonight was going to be the best time to change the oil. We've got the one bunk that we were filling full. We're going to cover that in the morning. Therefore, I can get the oil drained out of this tonight. Let it sit overnight draining. It only needs 10 minutes to drain, but I'm just going to get it draining. I'm going to walk away from it, and then I'll come back in the morning. Get the oil, new oil put into it, swap out the filters, so on and so forth. Now this takes 2 engine oil filters. It uses the same filter as does the ISX engine uses. And the reason why it uses those same filters is because this is, or it has, the Cummins engine. So we've been chopping some BMR that's had been slightly bladed, and it's got the chopper rather dirty here. If you recall, we did change the fuel filters already. I changed those 5-6 days ago. So those do not need to be changed. We just need to worry about getting the oil out and getting new oil back in. Now what this has is it has a drain valve right on the bottom of the oil pan there. We're going to slide this old heater hose on there, drop that down through and in front of this rear axle, and then we can drain it into this drain pan here. Usually I use 5-gallon buckets, but Jared just picked this oil drain dolly up here a while ago. I'm not sure how much it holds. It's got just a hand crank on it, so we can pump this over into the storage tank that we have that we use for our oil burner furnace. So this engine holds 66 quarts, and I'm pretty sure that container there is large enough to hold all that. So we'll go ahead and get this drained out, and then we'll join up with you in the morning here, and we'll get the filters changed and get new oil in it, and then we'll get the bunk covered, and we'll move on to some more chopping here. So we'll let that drain overnight. I'm not going to worry about taking the filters off right now. They're going to be rather warm. But this inner fender here, this comes off. You just pull this off of there. Reach in, grab the filters. They are both right inside there. And we'll get them swapped out. Like I said, I already changed the fuel filters. And a few days ago we had that hydraulic pump put on. We took the old one off, Jake put the new one on, that's been working real good. So we'll join up with you guys tomorrow morning. We'll get this oil changed, finished up, and hopefully that container there holds all of our oil. Well, we're into the next day. We've got our oil drained. This is the first time I've actually used this oil drain caddy here on the chopper. Usually we're throwing 5-gallon pails under there, and we need 5 of them usually to drain the oil out of this because it holds 66 quarts. We've got the new filters installed. This oil drain caddy holds 20 gallons, and it must be a small 20 gallons because it is right up to the black grate that's in there. So we'll pull this over to our oil storage tank. We'll pump the oil into that, and we'll do that while we're getting oil installed back into it here. We've got this oil drain hose. I usually just stuff this in this cabinet here so I don't lose it. And that stays with the chopper. The one thing I've learned over doing this oil change a number of times is to turn the wheels before you drop the oil, because it makes life a lot easier getting in here to install those new oil filters. We got the fender removed, that's sitting on the floor there. We'll just set that back into place, and we'll get on with it here. We're gonna cover the bunk here in a little while, and while we're covering bunk, we could be putting fuel into this. Well, this is our waste oil heater here, and then this is a 1,000-gallon fuel oil tank that we put our used oil in, and then we've got this diaphragm pump that we use to pump the oil over into the tank that's on the heater. This tank holds like, I don't know, 160 gallons or something like that. Now this little caddy holds 20. For the chopper, it would probably be ideal to maybe fill a 5-gallon pail first, because that oil is right up to the top and it moves around in there a little bit. But we'll go ahead and pump this over into there. An electric pump would be good too, but we weren't sure how we were gonna like this, and it works out really well, so maybe someday we'll get one with an electric pump on it. Oh, we've got the oil pumped over. Not the funnest job with this thing with the hand pump on there. An electric pump would definitely be a lot better. So we'll go ahead and finish up this oil change. Well, we are almost there. We're at 64 quarts. We'll stop it at 65, check the level, and we'll top it off if it needs more. Let's go ahead and pull the dipstick out here. See how accurate our gauge is anyhow. Our meter. Yeah, it's 3/4 of the way up the stick. What do you think, Davey? Well, we've got the oil change done. I've got a label maker. I just put a little sticker right there that lets me know when I need to change the oil. for the next time here, which will be during first cutting, or if we're close enough to it after we get done with corn, we'll just drop the oil out of it here when we do the winter service on it. So right now we currently have 2,873 hours on the engine, 1,797 hours on the cutter head. There's quite a bit of a swing there, and that is from traveling and waiting for trucks and whatever else like that. I seen a thing on silage cutter page there the other day. A guy had his cutter head hours were within about 50 hours of his engine hours. And what had happened was John Deere had a PIP a while ago where they were supposed to update some different controllers, and if the mechanic didn't do the update correctly, it zeroed the cutter head hours. So chances are, if anybody's seen that posting on Facebook where the guy's cutter head hours were in close proximity of the engine hours, that's more than likely what happened. So we'll just kind of show you what the cab looks like from living in here for a few weeks. I just swept the floor out, and we are now carrying an authentic John Deere fan belt with us. We do have a set of Napa belts on there right now. So now we're going to pull up, get fuel, and work on covering the bunk. Well, we've got this bunk here full. This is the one we're going to cover. We've got BMR in that one. We usually save this bunk for conventional. However, we're going to fill this one with BMR too. We've got a little bit of conventional in this back corner, and this is the pile that we put in here yesterday. So we've got a few cut tires left. I don't know if we're going to have enough to cover this whole bunk, but we'll have to get more of these as time goes on. But they're like $2.40 a tire. We had these ones delivered last year, unloaded them. Right there, we had 3 semi-trailers come in here. Last fall, after we got done covering bunk, I think we used maybe 1 trailer load, and the other 2 trailer loads got here a little later on. So, I don't know if you can see the pile in that bunk, but we're pretty well over the sides there, pretty good. And it's starting to sprinkle here. So we're gonna get after it here. You guys ain't gonna do anything until I get up there, it looks like. Well, we got this all covered. They're just putting the last couple tires on now. And we're gonna go ahead and get chopping. We got a little bit of a rain shower when we started it, but it didn't go too bad. Well, it is Saturday morning, and I hope things go a lot better today than they went here yesterday afternoon. We ended up getting the bunk covered about 1:30, 1:45 or so. We went into chopping. Just chopping along, damn head quit. Reversed it a couple times, could not get the head to run in forward. Thought we had a connection issue with the multi-coupler here. Screwed around with that. Looked for any obvious cuts in the wiring. Couldn't find nothing. We worked on this for about 3.5, 4 hours last night. Called Kaz. They came over and helped us with it. We ended up digging into the actual drum, the lower portion of the drum unit itself. What there is brakes on these knife cutter drums. It's a safety device so that when you shut the head down, those knives end up slowing down and stopping before anybody gets near it. Like if you have to work on it or something, they would spin forever. We ended up replacing the shoes as long as we were working on it. So we ended up getting into this part of the row unit. There is a like a solenoid in there that when the brakes release, they power up, and when that brakes releases, it triggers a switch to tell the chopper that the brakes are released. However, you can't just test this and find out which one has the problem. You have to look at each individual brake itself. There isn't brakes on the smaller drum, the drum on the outside, on either outside portion of the head. There's just brakes on these 4 large drums. So Rich from Kaz, he powered everything up. We could get power to all of them. They were all releasing, but there is a sender wire hooked to that switch. And we ended up testing this one, then that one. Then we moved over to this one here and found that the problem was in the wire harness going to this right-hand drum. The wire right here, once we tore the wire harness itself apart, there was a broken wire in there. Now, that wire looked just like this one over here. In other words, there was no physical damage to it at all. However, they must get whacked with corn stalks every now and again there. And that wire was broke. So we're gonna go ahead and get a new harness here for this side and replace the other one that we've got spliced back together. So we're gonna go ahead and get started here, and hopefully today goes better. Well, everything's been going real good. It's actually Sunday right now. I didn't film anything yesterday. We chopped a lot of corn. And we only had one small incident. I should have got the camera out, but I didn't. And one of the drums, one of the spike teeth got caught up into the stripper plate thing. We had to work on that, but that only took a few minutes. Right now we are into the first field that we actually planted this year. This was planted on the 9th of May, and it is Pioneer P1449. You might be asking, why didn't you chop it earlier? Well, it really didn't need to be chopped any earlier than we're getting on it right now. So this is a 112 to 114 day variety, I can't remember which. And it is running right around 58-59% moisture. So we're just gonna keep on keeping on here. We've got Alex that we're loading here. Right now this field's only like 12 acres. It's a little goofy in shape and size, but we deal with it. So we'll join back up with you in a little while here, and then we'll close out this video. that is gonna do it for this video. We're just traveling down Curtis Road, the back side of our dairy barns there. Give you an idea what that looks like. So that's gonna do it, folks. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you at the next one.